times, sharing his epidemiological expertise on shows like ours on all things from the COVID-19 pandemic to flu season.
We haven't seen the full brunt of flu season yet, so I'm encouraging every parent out there to get your child vaccinated against the flu and get your child vaccinated against COVID.
Let's flatten the curve. Then we deploy massive public health infrastructure like contact tracing and regular testing, and then prepare for the second wave, which is probably coming at some point.
I don't see big concerts happening or big sporting events. Masks will probably be a part of our lives for some time. They're becoming normalized. So I think the society as a whole is bending towards public health as a value more so than it has in the past.
We have a fairly good idea how one acquires monkeypox, and we have a good idea of how to treat it. Keep abreast of the news, but there's no need to change your behaviors as of yet.
Most people still get vaccinated for measles in this country by a huge margin. It's just that measles is so contagious, we can't tolerate more than a handful of holdouts before herd immunity is lost.
One thing I had never heard Raywat talk about, however, the possibilities for doctors to have sex in a rheumatology lab, or hearing him use phrases like, "He was yielding to her touch, soft clay beneath her willful hands. Mira pressed him against the sign that read second floor rheumatology. It was as if she and Yanni were consecrating lifeless drywall with their hot staccato breaths, all the time mildly aware of the clicking heels of the midnight nursing shift a hallway away, and of the almost imperceptible groans of the elderly patients swimming in their beds." And yet, Raywat Deonandan does write about this as the opening scene in his short story collection, A Memory of Flowers and Coconut. That does not, however, truly capture what all he delves into in this book. Even the very story I'm referring to there goes on to explore colonialism in Guyana and the cult of Kali and the power of grief and desire to come to peace with one's past. Every story delves into those struggling with memories, grappling with religion, longing for love, all in stories with ties to his original home country of Guyana. Well, this weekend, we found out that Raywat Deonandan's A Memory of Flowers and Coconut earned the Guyana National Prize for Literature. And Raywat is with us now. Hello there.
I'm so deeply embarrassed. That is hilarious.
Well, first you have to be proud. Before we get to the sexy scene, you have to be proud. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
What experiences were you drawing on in that scene?
Honestly, the core narrative of that particular story is of a true story my father told me years ago of something that actually happened in Guyana decades ago, and I had to build a shell around that core narrative to get to an individual telling that story. So the sex was a convenient vehicle to get there.
That's where your mind went. You were like, okay, we got to start.
It always goes there. Let's be honest.
And in the rheumatology lab as well, like of all the romantic areas to
I'm an old man now. My mind always goes to rheumatology.
But these stories are, I mean, some of them go back all the way to 1994. The majority are sort of almost 2 decades old now. How different is Raywat now than the guy writing those stories?
That is a good question. I don't know. These are not leftover stories, but stories that I had written outside of other collections that I just decided, I think they kind of hang together with a common theme. Let's publish them into a single volume and see what happens. Am I different now? I guess I am. I'm a father now, and I'm a somewhat recognized scientist. So I don't know how this all happened.
But I mean, when you read your writing, for instance, do you notice, are you thinking, oh man, I wouldn't have used that phrase, or I would have done this a different way. This character no longer speaks to me the same way as they did 20 years. I know, for instance, like with musicians, you look back on something that they wrote 20 years ago, they're sometimes struggling to find the part that they find, but then there is also always something that connects them to that.
I was
narrator.
A lot more introspective, self-obsessed, and passionate back then.
Self-obsessed?
Not so much. A little bit, yeah. Because there's a lot of introspection that happens in literary writing of this nature. You've got to live in your own skull and think about what you've been through, what it means to you. It's all about you, me. I'm less about that now, but there's still some value in it.
There's one section that kind of gets at that. It's the narrator says something that I thought kind of tied together both the writer and scientific elements of Raywat, maybe, where he says, I'm a destroyer of worlds, a divine egoist, the ultimate mood killer. 1,000 lives blink into being with the start of my unconscious cinema. 1,000 more are quietly extinguished as I slip back into wakefulness. I am a creator of worlds, ephemeral and transient, wherein thin lines shimmer and etiolate, and serving my will yet tormenting my id. Now, he's talking about something quite different here, but then it goes on to talk about how contemplations on the origins of life usually begin with the accidents of electrochemistry, the violent swirling of sweet primordial soup, thick as Indian dal, love that line, that spits forth blobs of organic goop. From this follows the accidental collisions of simple molecules into organic strings, eventually into amino and nucleic acids, and from there to the stirring of unconscious life. It struck me like that's kind of the artistic and scientific minds coming together there in terms of the creator of worlds.
Man, I'm deep. I didn't realize it.
Very deep.
Yeah, no, honestly, I have never found tension between artistry and science. They've always lived comfortably in my skull. I don't understand why society continues to construct a tension between those two things. And I think we do a population a disservice by compelling people to pursue one path in exclusion of the other. I think everyone has at their hearts an artistic core that should be encouraged to be explored. That goes for scientists as well. Everybody has a scientific core as well. These things should live in harmony in everyone's mind and essence. And it's a detriment to modern society that we don't encourage it more.
I mean, it is also fascinating that the way that we pigeonhole people, I don't know how many people even realize in Canada your writing career. This is the National Literary Award of Guyana, and it isn't even the first time you won this award. This is it was over 2 decades ago that you won it the last time, wasn't it?
26 years ago. Yeah, that's right. And by the way, CBC had me on then as well.
Yeah, it is, but it's interesting also just to think about the freedom or lack of freedom somebody can sometimes feel to continue to explore. Has it been hard to continue with, I don't even mean in terms of logistics, finding the time to write, but to allow yourself to say, yes, I am still also a writer?
This is an important question, and something comes up a fair amount, and I want young people in particular to hear this. Don't let others define you. You are free to explore all avenues of your identity through whatever expression you choose to explore. It could be something professional, or it could be something artistic and individual. I have never felt constrained in that sense. I made a decision when I was younger what to pursue in university. I was good in science and I was good at writing, and I reasoned, one, my parents would not be a big fan of me pursuing writing as a career because we're hardworking immigrants, and immigrants don't do that. However, I also reasoned that anything I needed to learn in science, I need someone to teach me. Anything I needed to learn through writing, I could conceivably learn on my own, which is what I did. And it's important in all things creative and artistic that you find it within yourself to acquire the appropriate skills and to continue to motivate yourself to develop them further. And I think I've done that.
But the family might not have seen writing as hard work?
No, they saw it as hard work. But again, when you're a poor immigrant family, you want your child to invest in a career that is one day going to be financially lucrative. And writing is not that.
I love what you said in your acceptance speech about...
You heard that as well? Oh my goodness.
I heard the acceptance speech. Yeah, I found out from Peggy Blair, the author, when I saw her on the Weekend at the Crime at the Cottage event, that you had won this award. And then I'm like searching around. There are these little bursts of videos shot from the audience of you accepting this national award in Guyana. Is the what you said about the diaspora though, and this idea of what happens when you go away and how much you feel still connected. Talk to me a little bit about what it meant for you to be there this weekend, like getting this award.
It meant a fair amount. I'm Canadian, but I'm also Guyanese. I was born in Guyana. You can't get away from that kernel of identity that is instilled in you. And for me personally, it's a connection to my parents who passed away a few years ago. And so that's important to me to maintain that connection. Diasporas in general struggle with identity. We struggle to rationalize the old country with the new. And diasporas, especially from former empires, particularly the British Empire, have a particular cool skill set. And I talked to some writers about this, and we all kind of agree that diasporas from former empires are fence sitters. We get to see the world from a variety of perspectives, and especially an oppressed perspective. It is important to tell your own story lest it be told for you. So being part of a diaspora from a former colony, living in also in a former colony, I recognize that, it's important to tell the stories and to cogitate upon the meaning of those stories so that others do not tell them for you. I'm not sure I answered the question bluntly, but that's what I'm thinking about.
You did. What I also appreciate about the way you've written the stories is that it is not for specifically the audience, for somebody who has never been to Guyana to fill in all the blanks, for it to be, and that means that this is what it is, and this is what this food is. And so, you thread it together enough for me to be able to pick up on what I need to pick up on, but it's up to me to do some work as well.
Google's your friend.
To learn to find out. There's a scene in the movie theater that I really love where you talk about Amitabh watching this film where it says he thrashes the goons who stand in his way, flashing images of his dead son, his dishonored wife, show all the thoughts in his head. He's driven by grief and rage, but more accurately by honor. Izzat, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, that unique, indescribable thing that young men hover about and yet never truly manage to hold in the immobile, loitering grip of their conscious, forced contemplation. We all strive for it, driven by it, rationalize actions by citing it. None of us can ever define it. And then the story does end with you saying, in the end, I do nothing. Like after processing all these things that you're watching this role model, but tell me a little bit of what that actor went through. I don't know how autobiographical that story is.
That's not autobiographical at all.
At all. But
No.
but where you went for capturing that relationship between that narrator and Amitabh.
I went to a particular diasporic experience, the Indian diaspora of Indians really living through Amitabh Bachchan, the great Bollywood actor, to experience what life is assumed to be like in modern India. And you get your morality from some of these screen idols. Unfortunately, one should not, but many people do. And so Bollywood films in particular are morality plays. The good guys are really good, the bad guys are really bad, and the good guys act out of a certain moral code, usually ending up being quite violent about it. And so, that story kind of explores the striving for a morality role model and the failure to really appreciate one or to internalize one.
And do you relate to the I do nothing guy?
I tend to do nothing for most things. So yeah.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what everyone thinks of when they think of Raywat Deonandan. Yeah. What a slacker. He does nothing. He's just, but are you writing right now? Like, are you continuing? As I mentioned, a lot of these stories are from 2 decades, but are you continuing to write fiction now?
It's funny you mentioned Peggy Blair. I have a story coming out with her new collection called Crime for Christmas. That's coming out for Christmas, which is a collection of stories written by a variety of Canadian authors exploring Christmas as a setting for crime. So there's that. Yes, I have, and I've been writing a speculative fiction novella for some years now, and I kind of lost the motivation to finish it, but now I've got the motivation again. It's the plot is in my head. I just have to find the motivation to carve out the time to finish it. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, we'll drag you back in to talk about that as well. Listen, again, congratulations, Raywat.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Raywat Deonandan, author, epidemiologist, and his new collection of short stories, A Memory of Flowers and Coconut, just earned the Guyana Prize for Literature.
That was